The once relaxing sound of pit-pattering rain on corrugated tin roofs used to fill Australians with relief, but a third consecutive La Niña event in full swing on the east coast has turned that relief to dread. The year 2022 officially became Sydney's wettest year, as a record held for more than 70 years tumbled last week, amid another multi-day deluge that's left parts of New South Wales and Queensland underwater. Shortly after 1 p.m. on Thursday, the city clocked a total of all fine 8 mm of rain, breaking the previous highest total of 2,194 mm set in 1950. As swollen rivers burst their banks, and residents once again mop up muddy messes, an expert has weighed on what's likely to come next in 2023. Read more. SES receives 1,000 calls for help as rivers rise in NSW. Principal research scientist at Zero Oceans and Atmosphere Dr. James Risby said La Niña should weaken by early January. He gave somewhat positive news for those fearing a never-ending cycle of rain and floods. The chance we will have a fourth La Niña is getting pretty slim, he told 9 News. Com.au. 4 in a row would be pretty rare. It's not out the question, but on the balance of chance we would say maybe not. You can quite commonly get 2 in a row, and occasionally you can get 3 in a row, but the chances are we will probably slip back into a neutral, or El Niño, year. The predictions come as the Bureau of Meteorology, BOM, today dropped their severe long-range weather forecast for 2022 to 2023. Read more. Putin blames Ukrainian terrorist act for attack on Crimea bridge in the forecast. The Bureau said the El Niño Southern Oscillation, ENSO, which determines El Niño or La Niña, will return to neutral conditions in early 2023. But until it does, meteorologists have warned there would be more tropical cyclones than average from November to April. The number of tropical cyclones in the Australian region is generally higher with La Niña, the Bureau said. The Australian region has a 73% chance of having more tropical cyclones than average. This is also equivalent to a 27% chance of fewer tropical cyclones than average. Typically, 11 tropical cyclones form or pass through the Australian region in a season, with around 4 of these crossing the Australian coast. Risby explained it's just too far in the future to know what the summer of 2023 will bring. He said we should have a better picture by July and August next year. Read more. Thought they would scream. School shooters prison interviews. What normally happens is the event, whether it's La Niña or El Niño, weakens over the summer and it's pretty much dissipated by the end of the season, he said. Then we go into autumn and we're not really in any stage, either one or the other. Then a new event sets up in September of next year, but that's too far away for us to have any real skill in being able to forecast. Risby admitted the amount of rain that's come down this year has been surprising, even to him. I've been surprised just by the persistence of the rainfall events along the east coast, he said. Go back to February and March, we had a period starting towards the end of February where we had 2 weeks in a row where we just had storm after another. That spread between Brisbane and the NSW coast was just incredibly wet over that 2-week period. That was really unusual, and if you look at rainfall over a 2-week period down that coastal strip, that was the wettest ever. Risby explained La Niña rainfall patterns are partly determined by where the events form, which can be either over the Central Pacific or Eastern Pacific regions. The more recent La Niñas have been more Central Pacific La Niñas, and the rainfall patterns associated with those are different, he said, adding it's unusual to see such a high volume of rain over Sydney and the NSW coastal strip ordinarily. It looks like with Central Pacific ones, which is what this year seems to be setting up more like, that actually does have a rainfall connection with that coastal strip of NSW. It tilts the odds to wetter. This La Niña is expected to stay around and weaken through to December to January.